Hi everyone, Elon Musk here. As you know, I bought Twitter for $44 billion, and we want to bring free speech to the entire world. In order to achieve this dream, I must know one very simple thing. I like you. Do you like me? Check either yes or no. Oh, and one more thing. If you check the box no, you are no longer invited to my birthday party next year.
Hey everyone, this is Chris. Welcome back to the channel. So we got to talk about Elon Musk and sort of the debacle that continues over at Twitter. And this is especially good, and I want you guys to pay attention if you want to run a business for yourself one day, if you want to be a CEO yourself one day, if you want to move up and how to treat people properly. I think the Twitter example is how not to treat people. So first is Elon Musk here. You can see he's had a history of sort of discouraging free speech in his own companies, even though outwardly he says, "Oh, I'm buying Twitter for free speech," and all his fanboys go, "Oh yeah, free speech." But it's not really the case when it comes to his own company. So generally, if you criticize him or you may complain about the work, that sort of like the work culture, then you may get fired. This has been a history of these things. Or if you come out and say, "Hey, I think Elon Musk is harassing me," you'll get fired, or these kind of stuff. So the other thing is too on Twitter, he doesn't like when people make fun of him, which is fine, right? I understand that. I don't like when people make fun of me either. I get it. But I think part of the problem is that he came in with such a cavalier attitude about I can run a social media company and we don't have to worry about any of this stuff, and I'm going to come and do everything, and it just keeps reversing policies and stuff like that. And as it turns out, kind of what's going on right now, there's two things. So one is we had talked about just earlier. I mean, it was just earlier that they fired 20 engineers that were messaging on Slack, the private work essentially chat, like just complaining about different things Elon Musk was doing. And then Elon Musk first fires those people, and then now comes out with this. You guys can see it already. That he's giving people a deadline. Either gonna commit to the company or go, and it's kind of nuts because it's like I think they got like 1 day to decide. It's like what? And in fact, I have the email that Musk sent out, and we're gonna read it together. This is what it is. It's called "The Fork in the Road" was the subject headline of the email. Let's read it together, guys. Again, this is from Musk to all of Twitter, their employees, that is. Going forward, to build a breakthrough Twitter 2.0 and succeed in an increasingly competitive world, we will need to be extremely hardcore. This will mean working long hours at high intensity. Only exceptional performance will constitute a passing grade. Twitter will also be much more engineering driven. Design and product management will still be very important and report to me, but those writing great code will constitute the majority of our team and have the greatest sway. At its heart, Twitter is a software and service company, so I think this makes sense. If you are sure that you want to be a part of the new Twitter, please click yes on the link below. And there's like a form that they're supposed to click or something. Anyone who has not done so by 5 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow, this is basically a 1 day deadline kind of thing, or 2 day or whatever, Thursday. So what is, yeah, it's like a 1 day thing, will receive 3 months of severance. Whatever your decision you make, thank you for your efforts to make Twitter successful. And my understanding is that he was sending this out to all Twitter employees at like midnight. It's I think this is messed up. So another way to put it, it seems like to me like, okay, I mean, if you read the language of this thing, we will need to be extremely hardcore, working long hours at high intensity. I mean, okay, I get it. If you would take this in a positive note, you'd say, oh well, I want to be part of a hardcore company, a hardcore team. I want to be working, high intensity. I want to work in, 24/7. I want to make this company great, etc. I get it if like we're talking about sports or I mean, even if you love a company in this day and age, just imagine if your boss comes or a new boss comes to your company, fires half the people, and then says, "I want you to work day and night and day." He is tweeting out all this stuff in public and on you, and you find out your coworkers are getting fired. If you're like, man, I don't want to work 24/7. I got a family and kids, or I don't want to work 24/7. I have commitments. I don't, I just want you to put it in perspective, because I understand, guys. I really do. There's Elon Musk fans out there that say, oh no, Elon Musk is great. You should get on board, or get off. I'm just putting in perspective for us older folks who have had jobs in the past, and have lives. And I think what's interesting about this is that we had this sort of quiet quitting movement, which I've talked about and criticized equally well, because I do encourage people to try their best all the time. But with that said, I think there has to be a balance. This has to be a balance with workers, need to have lives. Also have a balance with employers need workers to commit to a company. I get both of that. But I want to give you that this is a live and real example right now that Twitter, Elon Musk has sent to employees at Twitter, and I just think it's pretty harsh. Like read this last part. You have to decide by tomorrow. Anyone who has not done so by 5 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow will receive 3 months severance pay. Just think about that. That's like, what the heck is going on? It's like, do I click the link? Do I not click the link? I mean, what would be crazy? And I actually could see a world where this happening was like, let's just say everyone at Twitter who's left, the other 50%, remember he fired 50, and he's just like, you know what? F that. I'm getting out. I'll be curious. This is just nuts. The other thing too, which is interesting too, he was saying like Twitter will be more engineering driven, and that design and product management will be very important and report to me. But the code is more important than design and project management. I think that's just really interesting. And I am not a coder, so I don't no comment on that. But I wouldn't. I think what's going on here, and I think it would bother me if I was at any company basically saying, okay, this department's way more important than other department. And I think that's really going to tick off a lot of people if you're not in a favored department. Now, Steve Jobs used to do that, and I get it. Some people are like, oh, Steve Jobs is awesome. This is why I teach management. I just want you guys to understand just, the ramifications of things. So what Steve Jobs used to do over at Apple, and this is part of Apple culture, it's been Apple culture for a long time, is that they'll have like different teams, say, working on the next computer, right? And you'll have maybe 3 different teams, 2 different teams, whatever. Whatever design is the winner will be the winner, and they'll get rewards and maybe bonuses and benefits and stuff like that and recognition. And then if you're working at Apple, but you're on the team the design wasn't picked, you're kind of kicked off the side, and your work has nothing to show for it. Meaning that, like, let's say you even leave Apple, and then you can't even say, hey, I worked on X project, because there wasn't X project, and you may under sort of NDA where you can't even just talk about what you worked on. So I'm just sharing with you guys that I'm not a big fan of the culture of putting company how can I say, just belittling some people's work. I think I'm not a fan of that. And I just wanted to open this up to you guys. And this is some of the stuff that I was reading here. This is a letter that someone got after they were privately writing stuff on Slack to their coworkers, like, hey, I don't want to work till 8 p.m. I'm kind of tired. I'm getting sick of Musk telling us to work at 8 p.m. I don't know what it was said, but I'm saying something of that nature, right? And they get an email and it says, we regret to inform you that your employment is terminated effective immediately. Your recent behavior has violated company policy. Like the company would just send on an email. Our operations team will be reaching out to you with offboarding instructions. If you have any follow-up questions, you can email them at twitter.com. This is sort of what other people at Twitter were saying. This person saying, being able to view anyone's calendar, including higher ups, was such a flex for Twitter's culture. Rest in peace. So I think this idea is what she's saying is like just anyone's looking at your kind of private stuff. I don't know if calendar's private, but just you get my point. They didn't care for that. And then this person got fired. Your recent behavior has violated company policy. And then this other person's commenting on basically what it was is Musk was tweeting out and kind of throwing employees under the bus. And this is what Musk said. This is just on November 14th, just a couple days ago. By the way, I'd like to apologize for Twitter being super slow in many countries. App is doing greater than 1,000 poorly badged RPCs just to render a home timeline. So, guys, I'm not a software guy. So if someone can explain the RPC thing and why that would be insulting to software people, please let me know. I mean, I'm being sincere. I just don't know that kind of stuff. But evidently, the people who work at Twitter are kind of ticked off the way he described that they're coding essentially. And then Unusual Whales, they tweeted out basically saying, hey, Musk is firing a bunch of people. And then Musk actually replied to that and said, I would like to apologize for firing these geniuses. their immense talent will no doubt be of great use elsewhere. So that's has a very sarcastic tone to it. I think, I mean, just put yourself in their shoes, guys. Imagine if you just gotten fired by, by Elon Musk, and he's kind of ridiculing you in this way, like, oh, if you think you're a bunch of genius, go somewhere work somewhere else. That's just how I read that. And it's disrespectful too as well. You're really really rich. You're a billionaire. I really get that, and you just fired someone so they don't have any income at the moment. So I think that's a bit callous for a CEO, in my opinion. And I mean, yes, you could read it face value and say, oh no, he's being nice. He's calling them geniuses, and they're gonna go get a job somewhere else. But I don't read it like that. And I'd be curious if you guys agree with that. This is another one. And I edit out the bad words because I don't want to show that on YouTube. But we'll read some of this. So this person was the co-tech lead of the core API platform team. So, and then I guess they work with GraphQL and Scala. So if you guys are well aware of this stuff, please write in the comments. Fill the rest of us in that aren't software people. That'd be great. So this person is saying, replying to the RPC tweet, saying, you did not just lay off almost all of infra and then make some easy sassy remark about how we do batching. Did you bother to even learn how GraphQL works? And moreover, you don't get to, and this is crap, on our infra if you don't know what the F it does while you're also scrambling to rehire folks you laid off. And if you guys remember too, the story was, it was last week or what, I can't remember exactly. It's hard to keep track of all this stuff. But they came in and fired half the people, and then and then they realized that, like, oh my God, we need to get some of these people back. And then so they had the contact and the rehirement. I offered you guys the question was, would you come back after you were just been fired? And most people in the comments in our community were saying, I would do it, but on my terms, and sign a contract and get it in writing, like, double the pay and guaranteed employment, just that kind of stuff. So this is the kind of stuff they have to deal with right now. It's crazy. Moreover, again, this is the co-tech lead is saying, lol, just got fired for S posting or crap posting. I said it before and I'll say it again. Kiss my ass, Elon. We built some dope up to cover that, but it's okay. Dope S together, and I am so effing proud of our team and everything we did. So that's kind of the gist of it. Is you got an ultimatum. I showed you a few, sort of reactions of some employees. We're going to see together if people are going to go along with this, if they're going to commit to being Twitter 2.0 and will need to be extremely hardcore, working long hours with high intensity. My opinion would be F that. I am getting a new job, giving my 3-month severance. But to be fair, if a person has commitments, be it a mortgage, kids in school, any number of things, it's not that easy. But we are all human beings, and people get mad and it's like, I'm just not doing it. So my own personal self, I get mad and just quit. But I'm not saying follow my example, because everyone has to do what they have to do. But to be fair, if you save up enough money and you have enough in the bank, then you have a lot more freedom to quit jobs, right? You're not beholden to your employer because you owe money to someone and you got to keep working, etc. So this is something to where I've said so many times: live below your means. It gives you so much more freedom to where you don't have to put yourself through the punishment of a boss that abuses you all the time. And that's been something that I've been really grateful and lucky for in my career. So anyway, that's my thoughts on these things. I'd love to hear your thoughts on these things. And please, guys, share your thoughts in the community. I think this is an important topic, and I'll catch you next video.